welcome. Welcome to this short video on how to find a comfortable seat for meditation. Now, oftentimes we see images of people meditating in this full lotus pose, but I will be honest with you, it is not the most comfortable. Not even for a body that has very open hips. I don't think that I would be able to be very comfortable for a long time in a meditation in a full lotus pose. I never use the full lotus pose for meditation. There are different ways that we can find a comfortable seat, and the most important thing is that we are comfortable. Because when we're coming to sit for meditation, we already have enough distractions of our own mind to deal with and sift through. We don't want the body to be another distraction. So today I'm just going to run through a few ways, a few variations that we can sit for meditation. So sitting cross-legged, some of us find this easy. We'll find it a whole lot more comfortable, even if you are flexible already, if you sit up on something. Just to have your hips elevated just a little bit, whether this is a cushion, as I'm using, or one of those foam blocks, maybe not something like this, a brick, a yoga brick, but more of a yoga block, flatter and wider. Just allows the pelvis to raise up a little bit higher than the knees. Now, depending on how flexible you are, my knees are able to drop to the floor. I do a lot of yoga and have some natural flexibility as well. But if your knees are quite high, what you can do instead is, again, raise the pelvis, 1, 2 pillows. Maybe you need something a little bit higher underneath you. You can also support your knees and your thighs with any props that you have. These could be pillows, they could be books, they could be yoga blocks as I'm using, or yoga bricks rather. And if I had kind of higher knees, I could rest my legs up on that. And that will make me feel a little bit more stable, comfortable in my pose so that I can find more ease. Now this won't work for everybody. One common complaint that I hear here is people are quite tight in their feet, or maybe your ankle bones are pressing into the floor. So, solution for that would be, and I don't have it with me at the moment, but you could take a roll or a blanket, a small bath towel works really well, and prop it underneath your ankle. If you didn't have any of that, you could just prop up that foot or ankle on a pillow, on the edge of a pillow, so that there's something soft beneath that foot and the ankle bone, and it takes away the compression of the top of the foot, which can be uncomfortable. So bear in mind that a typical meditation is about 5 to 10 minutes, an easy one. It can be up to 40 minutes. If you are in something like a Vipassana, if you're going on a Vipassana retreat, you will be sitting and meditating for most of the day. So the way you sit is super important. So let's look at some other ways, because not all of our hips are ready to sit in this open, cross-legged position. So the next position that we can explore is sitting on your knees, sitting with your bum on your heels, so kneeling. Now, some of us are comfortable just kneeling as we are. Or you might want to add some props, and that will probably make that more sustainable for a longer period of time. Some simple props can just be some yoga bricks underneath you. Taking one underneath the sit bone, maybe one so it's a little bit further, so you have a little bit more base. Now I'm still quite low to the ground, so there's still some compression that I can feel in my knees. If I lift my seat up, I'm actually going to take that compression out of my knees. So what I'm doing is stacking 2 bricks, and then that is going to support my seat. And you can keep building that. Think about it like playing Legos. You can just keep adding and adding and adding until you find a height of your pelvis that takes away the compression of the knees, and your joints are going to feel a lot more comfortable there. Now, a lot of you might think that this won't be comfortable because of your knees, but I want you to try. If you lift your hips up high enough, you might actually feel more comfortable than sitting with the knees open in a cross-legged position, because we're used to sitting in this position, like sitting in a chair, more than we are sitting in an external rotation. So try a kneeling position. Put some blocks underneath you, If you have a yoga bolster, you can use a yoga bolster. You can do a combination. So sometimes I put the blocks first, then the bolster second. You want to find a place to sit. Now, ideally, you could sit more in front of the bolster so that it's just supporting the pelvis. And then your body weight is a little bit, well, your body weight is more on the center, so it's right in the pelvis, and the knees are a little bit more free. Sometimes when we're straddling the bolster, it kind of pushes the knees apart too much. So if you're more at the end of the bolster, you're allowed to bring your knees. It's more easy to bring your knees forward. And just keep raising that up. So I could even add another pillow here. Boop. So that when I come down, there's so little weight in my knees now. It almost feels like I'm barely touching the floor. But my legs are very relaxed. They even make stools nowadays that support you in this kneeling position. It is very, very comfortable. And if this still isn't comfortable for you, then just come up onto a chair. There's absolutely nothing wrong than meditating in a chair. So I hope that has helped you today to understand that there are many ways to sit. Not just the full lotus pose is going to bring you into meditative state. Although there is something to be said about crossing over. For when our limbs cross, it is said to really engage more fully right and left sides of the brain. So we have this fuller awareness. However, sitting comfortably is going to be the first step to just be able to meditate in the first place. So take importance, take time and experiment. Do this outside of a class setting so you don't feel like you're in a rush, and then you know where your seat is and where you are the most comfortable. And I hope that enhances your seated practice. Thank you for watching. Namaste.